So you are saying that there is a difference between discipline and dictatorship, Sanjay Jha, and Narendra Modi is enforcing discipline. That doesn't mean he's a dictator. Or do you think both work, especially in the context of politics, hand in hand? Sanjay Jha.
Yeah, Rahul, let me tell you that Mr. Modi is used to getting his way by hook or by crook. And I'll give you that example, the classic one, he should know that, Mr. Vyas, when Mr. Modi admitted himself into a hospital on the pretext that he was not well because he wanted to get his way. So, Mr. Modi is capable of a huge theatrical performance, including maybe the silence in the meetings that you're talking about. End of day, look at the experience of Sanjay Joshi. Look at how Hiren Pandya was in fact harassed to give up his seat in Gujarat. So there is a history behind Mr. Modi that one cannot pretend to wash away because of some inner party democracy that BJP always puts on as a big facade. There is a serious problem. The BJP has always been actually a divided house. Mr. Modi is subdividing it. And the reason behind that is very simple.
No, but I can counter-argue.
If you look at the track record,
counter-argue, Sanjay, to say that BJP was a divided house. Narendra Modi has brought it together. That the BJP earlier had so many factions, divisions, subdivisions. Now there is only one Modi. Now that might yield electoral dividends. So what you are saying is actually counter to what's happening on the ground in the BJP.
Well, let me tell you, Rahul, end of day, it is the RSS dictate that is completely dominating this election. From the nomination of Mr. Modi, we know what happened before Goa when Mr. Modi tweeted that I've got the blessings of Mr. Advani, and Mr. Advani denied that. I mean, that I thought was frankly scandalous, that here was a man saying that I've got the blessings of the grand old patriarch of the BJP who actually denied that. So you can see how disingenuous the whole situation can be. But end of day, I don't think anybody in the BJP has the guts today to take on the RSS. The RSS is canvassing, the RSS is campaigning, the RSS has actually sent out a clear message to the BJP leadership. Therefore, everybody will be towing the line of Mr. Modi till the results are out, and we are very confident that once the results are out, you see the dissensions within the BJP surface.
Okay. I want to go across once to Gaurav Sawant, who's tracking this big meeting, because as I told you at the beginning of the show, till the time we hear from LK Advani's camp himself, we can't be fully sure whether he's on board. And Gaurav, there's a big meeting taking place. Have we so far heard from LK Advani's camp that he's on board, that he accepts that he will fight from Gandhinagar, or is it just the BJP that is saying that he'll fight from Gandhinagar, Gaurav?
Well, the BJP has made it official that Lal Krishna Advani is going to fight from Gandhinagar. We are yet to hear from either Lal Krishna Advani or his camp. We have been hearing reports, or as some suggest, speculation that he has his reservations, and some indicate that he continues to have his reservations. There is an effort on still to persuade him to accept. One of the BJP leaders we spoke to here said that all efforts are being made to get him on board. And just a short while back, as Madhu Kishwar was pointing out, that perhaps Advani ji may want to come on board, some around him may not want that. Is that actually the case? It remains to be seen, but even within the BJP circles, they're saying, are we waiting for a block bomb or a letter bomb? That remains to be seen.
That's very interesting. Advani not officially on board, or there's no public statement yet. Naturally, the BJP would have reached out to the patriarch, got some sense that he was on board before announcing it. Otherwise, the announcement would probably have been withheld. But this really shows, Ajay Alok, that there is a dissenter, a perpetual dissenter within. And that really undermines Modi's confidence going forward, because as he moves forward, if he has a letter bomb or a block bomb being fired at him from the back, does that not raise questions about the BJP Prime Ministerial nominee's campaign in this election? Ajay Alok?
Rahul, I'll just like to remind you, a few days back, the RSS in its meeting in Bangalore very categorically said that we must not make use of word Modi, Modi all the time. We should rather focus on the nation and the party and talk about the party, not about Modi, Modi, Modi. This was a clear snub, because RSS has seen that Modi glows in cloud, what they did to them, even in Gujarat. So they don't want this to happen. But yet now Modi in such a frame that he is ready to cut down to anyone to his size, and that's what he's been doing. But just by keeping quiet in the meeting doesn't mean that he's not having his say. He's having all his say, and all the top leadership of BJP are getting frustrated and insecure. And this will result something in a boomerang in the coming days to come. We'll see that.
And that's what you'd like to happen. Whether it happens or not, we don't know. And I think Hartosh Singh Bal was bang on when he says that if the party gets stuck at 160, 170, that's when this conspiracy theory comes into play. If the party gets more than 200, none of this matters. They can sulk as much as they want. But Madhu Kishwar, before we end this debate, in the last part, I want to debate and ask you whether what Murli Manohar Joshi, Sushma Swaraj and LK Advani have done, when taken as a collective, reflects that the leadership issue in the BJP is still not fully settled, that questions will still simmer, and that Narendra Modi's leadership is not as comprehensively established as it could or should be. And these questions linger. Madhu Kishwar.
See, Rahul, my appeal to you is please stop getting Sanjay Jha to pontificate on Modi, Hartosh Bal. They've not interacted with him for 2 minutes. They have no idea. As someone who has spent a whole year trying to understand Modi through his colleagues, through his work, not through what Modi says about himself, I can tell you that they are misleading you about the man. He is one of the most disciplined persons I have known, who abides by party discipline. I can tell you, if they asked him to go jump from Himalayas and go into the sea, he'll do it. That's how crazy he is about party discipline. And all these people, Advani ji, you know very well, he is surrounded by mischievous people. You want me to name them? I don't even have any hesitation doing that. They're just being egged on. And all these people who Congress is feeling so sympathetic towards, I mean, mind you, they are running BJP in Gujarat with an RSS reject like Shankar Singh Waghela. All the Bajrang Dalis are going to Congress. All the VHP Lumpans are going to Congress in Gujarat. And good congressmen have abandoned and joined BJP. And I have long interviews with many of the senior leaders in Gujarat who have left Congress to join BJP. Tell me why they did so. Please read my book, Modi, Muslims and Media, to understand a little bit about Modi's work style.
You aren't answering the question.
You will also
before going across to Jai Narayan Vyas, you aren't answering my question. You are stating what you see as facts. You are entitled to your perception. But there is the reality of Murli Manohar Joshi's dissent, Hartosh Singh Bal. There is the reality of Sushma Swaraj's public tweet. There is the reality of Advani's reluctance to contest from Gandhinagar under Modi. So the BJP and supporters can say what they want. The reality points in a different direction, Mr. Bal.
Absolutely. I mean, look, the facts are in front of us. Anybody who's been reporting on Modi and has spent enough time, and this is not just Madhu Kishwar, I think a lot of people have spent time in Gujarat talking to various number of people and have come away with very different conclusions. This is exactly in keeping with Modi's personality, his style, and this is what you are seeing unfolding in the party. You are seeing a move away from the Vajpayee era of consensus of taking people together to a BJP which is very different. It is about one man, a personality cult, structure around a man with a certain belief which a lot of people in this country find objectionable, and this is the belief that is being forced down the BJP.
No, but a certain number of people might find it objectionable, but there are a whole lot of more people who actually find Narendra Modi acceptable, which is why all the opinion polls seem to indicate that here's the man who probably has the winning ticket in 2014, Mr. Bal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He may well win these elections. He will bring the kind of energy that the BJP wants. The party was indeed in problems, and Modi may well be the leader. That does not mean the criticism is not valid. That does not mean the questions we are raising.
You're saying, okay, fair enough. I want Jai Narayan Vyas to answer that he might well win the elections, but a popular mandate doesn't mean that the issues raised by Murli Manohar Joshi, Sushma Swaraj and LK Advani go away. It still in the long run raises serious questions about Modi's leadership capabilities and his leadership style, Mr. Vyas.
Well, Rahul, any leadership for that matter, if as a student of management I have come to know, that has to stand the test of time, changing circumstances, and has to take head on the issues and the problems that may erupt in the environment. So, he will have to attend to all these things, address himself and come through. That will ultimately decide what is Modi, and that will ultimately then all these issues which we are discussing today, whether he is a good leader or whether he is a dictator or whatever it is, will be automatically.
But Sanjay Jha, is that not fair? That ultimately it's the people's court and the people's mandate that prevails. Patriarchs and senior leaders can sulk, but if Modi can deliver a big victory for the BJP and the RSS, that is what they're most interested in. If a couple of senior leaders for their own petty and selfish reasons get upset and cut up, so be it. Modi landed the BJP what they were looking for. Sanjay Jha.
You know, Rahul, there's a difference here. Mr. L.K. Advani is not just an old 87-year-old leader. Don't forget, he was their prime ministerial candidate in the last elections. And frankly, if you ask Mr. Advani personally, he still believes somewhere he's in the running. And you know, to answer Madhu Keshwarji, I want to tell her that I don't know Adolf Hitler personally. I don't think anybody in the panel does. But we do know that he was an extremely awful dictator. So we don't have to know anybody personally to make an observation. I think the point that we need to recognize
but is that not unfair?
That Mr. Modi has
Sanjay
a style.
Jha, what is it that he's done so far which would link him with Adolf Hitler? You draw these comparisons. He is running a popularly elected government. If he comes to power with the sort of mandate that these opinion polls project, then he would have come to power because of the goodwill of a lot of people, far more than those who oppose him. And that clearly is something that deserves respect. In the manner in which the 2009 verdict for the Congress deserves respect, the people's mandate too must be respected, Sanjay Jha.
Well, let me tell you, we respect the verdict of the people of Gujarat. We are not denying that. But there are methods which have been employed which are extremely checkered and controversial. I'm talking about here, you know, forget the Gujarat 2002 riots. Let the courts give a verdict on it. That will remain an issue that Mr. Modi will have to address at some point or the other beyond a mere apology if that ever comes. But the bigger issue is the use of state machinery, the abuse of the state machinery. And I'm not just talking about Snoopgate and the number of police officers who have landed up in jail. The fact that, you know, there has been an attempt to, you know, promote Gujarat's, figures which have been challenged by experts for a sustained period. And you know, the propaganda, etc., in a democracy is a free right of every individual. But there have been attempts to fudge facts, to actually
but those are
demolish
separate issues.
Of
I don't think we are cutting through
the
to the issue that needs to be debated and discussed. I think all our panelists have made their points. The reality is that there are leaders who are upset. The reality also is that this raises questions about Modi's leadership style. But in the end, from the BJP's perspective, Hartosh Singhbal, would you not concede that winning is what matters? You know, there'll be critics and they'll have fair criticism, and it's the job of critics to criticize. But if he can land a big electoral victory for the BJP, will that not show to the people of India and to those who believe in the BJP's ideology that he's done the right thing?
Sure, I mean, his electoral victory may not silence me, but certainly within the BJP, everybody will fall in line, a government will be formed, and then the questions we are asking, well, we will see how they will pan out when Modi actually leads a government. I think that's a fair enough statement.
Okay, I want to leave it over there. There is very clearly, from what is visible, even critics are now being forced to admit that there is a Modi wave. Regardless of whether Ajay Alok likes it, Sanjay Jha likes it, that Modi wave also brings with it a set of questions about his leadership capabilities. If Advani does agree to contest from Gandhinagar, then today's crisis would have blown over. But Sushma Swaraj is a problem. Murli Manohar Joshi is now been reined in, but his reluctance was very clear. And this raises serious questions about the sort of leadership that can be expected going forward. Narendra Modi is a man who's marked by supporters and critics alike, and every move of his will be scrutinized very carefully. For joining us on Center Stage tonight, thank you very much.